We're gonna watch Corn together? What is this?
This whole fucking scene. This whole fucking scene.
This book brought out a lot of violence in me.
You died with a hell of a bang.
Honestly, she probably just should have killed her.
It's gonna be
Death to Akira.
I love him.
I'm traumatized and I'm just reading it.
Hi.
Happy May.
It's gonna be May. It's already May.
You're insane. And we didn't address it on the last episode. But happy birthday.
Me?
Belated birthday.
Me?
No, the other bitch in the room.
A very merry on birthday to you.
You're insane. What the fuck?
I act like it's my birthday every day.
I relate to that song
So bad.
too hard.
I have to tell you, and I don't know if this is me growing as a person or I'm just a sap, but we were driving down to an appointment and we were listening to Taylor Swift, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that a lot of my son's friends are all like anti-Taylor Swift just on principle because they're rednecks up here and they just,
And they're boys.
Fuck Taylor Swift. No, even the girls. They're just very big.
Oh.
So it got started with he had 2 text messages on his phone when he woke up this morning by different people saying, "Tell your mom I miss her."
Aww.
Because it's school vacation.
That's so cute.
Which is cute, but
I didn't know where you were going with this
we've had
sentimental
this
story.
Oh, I'm getting there. This wasn't even it.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, no. Which I've had this weird thing with sending you guys Velcro kid posts lately because that's literally my life. So thus point. But anyway, I had him respond back with, "Don't miss her because we're in the car listening to Taylor Swift right now." So, because they're, oh yeah, no, thank you. So then I made a comment to him about how, it really sucks that they suck because Taylor Swift is literally good for any age because she started young and then didn't stop making music. So you can literally follow at any age. And he kind of, yes, has grown up with Taylor Swift, but I don't think he ever fully looked at it that way, that they were so separated, because he was like, well, which one's for me? And so obviously I can't play debut right now, which would probably be the exact right age for him. So we played Fearless instead. And I don't know why listening to 15 made me start to cry. Just listening to that with him.
Listen.
But it was
I'll
just
tell
like
mine after.
Talking about like starting freshman year, and which he's about to do. And, going through the next 4 years and all this stuff. And, it was just like, I was just like,
It's so funny you say that. I mean, we are literally the exact same age as Taylor Swift.
And that's the thing. He knows that. So then that's when I was like, okay, and now here's mine. And I switched over to Fresh Out the Slammer.
Good Lord. But I took my daughter to the Eras tour. So Grace has grown up with Taylor Swift because obviously huge Swiftie on my side. And so she relates to different songs in different ways.
Joey really wanted to go too if it wasn't for people. So we watched it on the TV.
there's that. But speaking of emotional, there are two songs that make me sob like a little bitch every single time
Oh,
for
so many.
different reasons. So the biggest one for me is I used to sing to Grace when she was an infant, the Never Grow Up song, and now I cry every time I listen to it because like literally I know it's
Mm-hmm.
about herself and not and growing up, but like as a parent and
Yeah.
then seeing it, I like sob. And so I can't listen to it without crying. And then the other one, and this is gonna sound so sad.
That's
Welcome to the
always
Sap
been,
Hour,
I
folks.
always tend to have like lyrics in my head as like
Hmm.
background stuff. And whenever I go through pictures of Joe, that's literally always the song in my head. I'm like,
Yes,
that's going to
yes.
be when I make your high school thing or something.
Yep. And the other one, Welcome to Sap Hour by Crystal and Ariel, featuring Taylor Swift, guys. The other one that gets me is Long Live.
Hmm.
And I cried at the concert. Um, the when I was watching it like at home because she didn't do it at the one I was at. Um, but like it always brings me back to like our friendship, and that's where I place that song is with you and I. And then I cry in the car. And I was like, but it's so true. Like it's people can hate on her all they want. She's a
But
lyrical fucking genius.
right. And there's
There's
something for
something out there for every
everything
yeah.
because like a few weeks ago, the sixth graders were going to our school store. I might have already told you this story, but and they bought mustaches for their school store. And they they all were getting their mustaches and then they gave me one to wear too. So we all put on these mustaches and they're like, "Oh, can we take pictures?" And yeah. And so of course I had to put on the man. But they're like,
Oh.
"Oh, Taylor Swift." And I'm like, "Just trust." And they waited and they came on and they were like, and it was amazing. We sat there and we had a dance party with our mustaches and
But that's the thing is like there's always something for honestly
it
like that
works. You can put it
for
in any
me
situation. We put it in almost any
every
situation.
almost any situation. I mean, when I went through honestly, this is gonna sound so fucked up. When Tortured Poets Department came out last year, I was really sad that I was not in the headspace where I could fully appreciate the nuances of it. So then when Spence, and don't get me wrong, that album lived rent free in my head the entire year, and I was streaming it consistently. I think it was like my top streamed album of the year.
Hmm.
But then when when Spencer and I broke up, I was like, oh, okay. So this is a sad girl album that I need in my life right
Not
now.
only that, but not to be too cheesy, but her stuff just hits different.
I love that
I
song, by the way.
I
Sorry.
know, me
Sorry.
too. That's what I said, not to be too cheesy. But for
Honestly,
real, we were on our kick of like listening to some of the new Selena songs and listening to some of the new Kesha songs. And we were like, we were on our kick. And then my car just must have known what I needed because I had turned on my car and my phone just played because it's one of my like top playlists is the Taylor's version playlist on
mhm.
Spotify. And so it starts playing, but the sound quality is just so different. I don't know if it just is just special in my ears or what, but it's just so different. It just sounds so much better. All of it, all of them. Maybe it's just because they're all
I
cohesive now. I don't know.
no, no, because
Like
it just
cohesive sounding because she recorded them more
I don't even think
currently.
so.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
even think that's it though. I just think like in general, like it just
They just have that quality sound.
yeah, yeah. So
And she
that
makes
was
sure it just, I
our
don't know.
20-minute
It
rant on
hits
Taylor
different.
Swift, but not
Yeah.
it does hit different. No, we just like we've never been shy about the fact that we're Swifties and like and I don't think everyone understands like yeah, we'll slip it in here and there, blah blah blah, and like haha
But
hee
we're not
hee.
like
It's
Swifties
funny.
in a, we're in a Taylor
we're gonna
Swift
track her.
cult people. Like, yeah, no, we're not like, we don't know
Honestly,
what she's
though, if she
doing, where
had a
she
cult, I
is.
would join it. So, like, I don't know. But
We just like listening to the songs versus we're not one of those people who are like, I think this song means this, or I think this song means that. There are those people. They are talented. They're just not me.
I hop on some of those bandwagons, but like not fully. Like I'm not gonna
No.
sit there and dissect it. But I can I think the thing is like we can appreciate really good lyricism, really good, well written clearly. We read a lot of
We
books
read,
too.
right.
She even made a song about that. It's called I Hate It Here. You're welcome. Because I do. I fucking hate it here.
I
That
listened
has
to that
been
twice today.
I've listened to it like 4 times in the last week. But so like I think it's just because I think part of it is we grew up with her like age wise.
Yeah.
And so like it just hits us at every single level as to the different things that we're doing in our lives, but it just she finds a way to make it relevant to whatever situation you're going through. Like, I don't care that she's multi-million dollar and she can go through all the shit. At least something in her discography you can relate to your own
But
personal
like you
life.
said, it's a,
Peter, by the way, has been on my mind.
yeah, I think it's a lot different because we are
Mm.
the age demographic. So, anyways,
Anyways, speaking of
anyways,
written word, we read a book to this week.
we did as we normally do.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
they're, I mean,
occasionally we get those where we did it, where we tried, but this time we
we
actually did.
always try.
We
I was
don't give
successful
up.
this week. Were you successful?
I was successful this
So,
week.
look, a home run.
Only in the book aspect. Everything else.
And that is
You
all
know
we're
what?
counting. That's
You know
all we're
what? In the
talking about.
procrastination aspect as well, I was very successful
Oh, I'm always
every day.
successful.
Oh, you know what? Another pat on my back. I got all my editing done. So, like, there's that. I gotta do fucking something, guys. Like, every day is a struggle. Anyways, it's Ariel's turn.
It is my turn. I'm going to be editing this one.
Oh, I more so just meant it's your turn to speak.
It's gonna be May. Okay. I only get to do it once a year,
Isn't it,
okay?
I know, isn't it such a shame though that Justin Timberlake turned out to be such a problematic person?
Is it also not a shame that that was also what was going through my head? And every single
I
time I say
can't.
that, I like have to also hold myself back a little because I'm like, ugh, the war within myself.
But why is it that, you know what? I just have accepted that men just disappoint us.
Yes,
Except for these men.
yes.
Speaking of men.
So, yes, these men, oof, I'm dreading the moment Crystal asks me to choose a favorite. I truly am. So, at the beginning of this year, we read Ensnared by Rebecca Quinn, and we learned that it was a trilogy. We knew it going in. We were upfront and honest about it. But we really wanted to read it anyways. So we did. And we left it in your hands. We said, let us know if you would like to continue this. If you're not down with it, also let us know, and we will just do it on our own. But it sounds like at least a couple of you also enjoyed the ride like we did. So this week we got to read Entangled by Rebecca Quinn, which is book 2 in our Brutes of Bristlebrook trilogy. And we are hoping that this will lead the way to finish it out. This book has a dedication, which, if I'm remembering correctly, okay, she also mentioned this particular item in her last dedication. This dedication reads, in memory of my Satisfier Pro 2 rechargeable clitoral stimulator, I should have recognized the signs of burnout. I should have stopped when you made that weird, terrifying zapping sound. It was either you or me at that point, and I'm ashamed to say I chose myself. You died with a hell of a bang. But I'm pretty sure she made reference to that stimulator in the first one.
So the first dedication says, Dear Satisfier Pro 2 rechargeable clitoral stimulator, our time together has been a glorious, passionate affair. Here's to many more years together, gorgeous. And no, I promise I wasn't eyeing off a newer model yet.
Well,
So between the
unfortunately,
first
that
book and this book, it died.
clearly the first book was too much for her, or writing this one was too much for her. I mean, I gotta say, some of it was a little nice there, a little bit. Anywho, anywho, we do still have the survival tips. I don't know if other people just find them unnecessary, but I truly do like them. They're little tidbits like to go into the chapter. They're kind of cute. Anywho, if you forgot and you have not caught up with our last episode regarding this trilogy, Ensnared, and you don't want to, here's just a last time. Last time we left off with Eden, our female main character, being taken by their enemy, Sam. Our men, Lucky, Jacob, Dom, Bo, and Jasper, managed to survive the attack on their compound and the bazooka. Check out the last one if you want more information about that. Eden doesn't know this, though, and she was taken during all the chaos. Da, da, da. So now she's been gone for 6 days, tied up and dragged along behind Sam as he leads her through the woods. Eden is not doing very well. She's dehydrated. She's hungry. She's cut up. She is beyond fatigued. A couple of Sam's companions meet up with them on their journey. They don't seem to like each other that much, but we'll get there. One is Mateo, who chastises Sam because apparently someone named Alistair would not be happy with Sam hurting a woman like this. Mateo cuts Eden's hand restraints, letting her bloody wrists free. He tells Sam that she can walk better without injuring them worse. Sam is not happy. Eden can clearly see the discord between them, but she doesn't know anything. Plus, honestly, she doesn't really care right now. She's mourning and miserable. But Mateo leads them the way back to their camp. There are at least a dozen more men at the camp, and one Eden is surprised to see a woman. The men are not pleased to see Sam. They feel like he is the reason that so many of their own died attacking the lodge. Alistair, apparently a leader among the men, though Sam is the loud spoken leader. We know how that kind of works in these crowds.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm not gonna say it because it's just kind of like having Sam's the mouthpiece, but Alistair pulls.
The brains.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just let it sit there in your
Lots
brains.
of
It's a
groups
lot of
work like that,
politicians
especially
do that.
when
What?
men, lots of groups work like that, especially when men are involved. Alistair comes out and tells them all to stop bickering and fighting with each other, that they need Sam and each other. Alistair is clearly in rough shape. He looks like he's literally on death's door. Sam tries to take Eden off, and Alistair stops him because of some kind of promise that Sam made to him as long as Alistair was around. Sam would leave the women alone. Sam doesn't think that's going to be very much longer, so he gives in and he agrees to wait, saying that they will head back to the den the next day. The people around the camp don't want to head back right away because they don't want to move the injured that they have. They feel like it would be too dangerous. Besides, the men from the lodge aren't coming after them. They blew themselves up, as well as most of their men. They can take their time trying to get back. At hearing about the lodge blowing up and none of them probably surviving, Eden can't help it. She just crumbles and starts to wail. On their way, she thought it was Lucky and Jacob that she lost, and now she's realizing all of them? Some dickhead of a guy named Owen walks up and tries to get her to stop and slaps her. And then he kicks her and drags her over to where apparently there's another woman bound and gagged as well. And then he and Sam kick and yank at them and beat the shit out of them. Jasper, Jacob, and Dom have been tracking Eden and Sam's trail for days. Like we said, we know they're alive. Eden doesn't. Unfortunately, Sam had a 2-day head start before the men could pick up a trail, but they're pushing through and trying to cover as much ground as they can. Bo and Lucky are back at the lodge, or what's left of it. Lucky is very badly wounded, though he was lucky. Lucky was lucky. I didn't. Oops. He was fortunate, though
That's
he was
almost like the
fortunate.
fucking dad joke you did not that long ago.
And thanks to quick action, he should recover. Bo is taking care of him and trying to do what he can at the house. He's boarding up windows and attempting to fix water pipes and restore water again. 2 days after they initially made it to the camp, Eden has remained silent, even though the girl who was beaten with her, Madison, attempts to keep up a stream of conversation. Madison has been their captive for the last 3 months. They are both continuously kicked and roughed up, but none have dared to use the women the way they would like under Alistair's nose. A fight breaks out over the fire between two of them, arguing about who can cook and whether the food is bland. They're trying to figure out who will make the meal now. They throw out the idea of the woman who's allowed to walk free at the camp. She seems to be their toy, but apparently she sucks at cooking.
Listen, not all women are good in the kitchen, okay?
Oh, we know.
I
Just
cook
like
to survive.
all men can't build a
Hunt.
house or hunt or. It's just dumb. Eden figures this might be her shot and says that she can cook well. She knows herbs, and she might even be able to help with the injuries with the herbs. She names a few that they should look for, and a couple men are sent off looking for them. For 2 days, Eden is allowed to be untied at meal times and allowed to make meals and tend to the injured. The more she does it, the less the men hyper focus their attention on her. Though Mateo continues to watch her closely, she is waiting for an opening. You see, when they captured her, they took her weapons. They took the bag of explosives that she had gone back to Lucky's stash for. But they didn't notice the hemlock in her pocket from, it seems so long ago, but from being out with Bo and Dom before they had gotten back to the attack. She figures that it might not be enough to kill all 16 men at the camp in a meal, but it should do enough damage to allow them to escape. Besides, she has nothing left to lose now, anyways. Her men are gone, and she's feeling pretty hopeless. All she knows
And
is that,
vengeful.
yeah, all she knows is that she does not want to be brought back with them to their base, to Cyanide City, where they rule. Dom, Jacob, and Jasper finally catch up to their trail. It's taken so long because it rained and they lost the trail for a little bit. It was a nightmare. Now, though, it seems they've realized that they've been following the wrong trail since the rain. They come upon a trio, Bentley, Arthur, and Arthur's son, Stephen, who are looking for the same people. Apparently, the group that they are after have taken over Cyanide City, and they call themselves the Sinners. The trip is just to find an inhaler. And Bentley thinks it is easier to get one off of them while they're outside the city than within the city. And Bentley tells them that the camp the sinners have set up is only 3 hours from their current location. And he makes a deal with our men to show them where it is if they agree to also retrieve the needed inhaler. So our men in Bentley head out while Arthur and Stephen head to what's called the red zone, which is just off of Cyanide City. But it's kind of like a no-go zone that they've been able to keep separate and apart. The sinners at camp have chosen this same day to finally head back to their den. Alistair is still holding up, and the majority have voted to return. Eden is cooking one last meal as the men pack up the camp. This is her only shot. She's frustrated though because both Sam and Mateo are off away from the main part. She can't risk losing her window though, and she puts the hemlock in the stew along with other herbs. Then she serves the dishes. She even brings one to Alistair, but she changes her mind when he confesses that he plans to take Sam out and lead the group in a different direction. One better, not keeping these women and children hostage. But then men start to double over and start vomiting and passing out, and Eden and Madison take off. When Dom, Jacob, Jasper, and Bentley make it to the camp, it's deserted except for at least half a dozen dead, poisoned bodies. They get information from a lone straggler, the woman,
She's
Akira.
pissed.
She is pissed.
And see, it, she was gonna give her the bowl, but she like went back and forth with it in her head about it because Akira always eats last. But she was going back and forth in her head about it because like Akira's a woman and all this other stuff. Akira is not very happy with what the fuck just went down, by the
Right?
way.
Her main person is dead, and she's really upset. But
She calls her a
Eden
lot of different
thinks
names.
that she was kind of a captive too, and she kind of was, but that's why
Stockholm
Eden
syndrome
just
runs real
couldn't
deep.
do it. Yeah. But Akira tells the men that all this happened because of Eden, probably about a half hour ago.
And she
That they
really
can
hopes
try
that
to
that bitch
find
is
her.
dead.
Yeah, that they can try to find her, but she'll probably be dead by the time they do because the sinners are after her.
She's not really upset about it at all.
Nope.
Honestly, she probably just should have killed her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I am not the person to like decide that because I am the one who, granted, it's a video game, but every time I play Fallout, I played Fallout New Vegas, and the goal, you have to decide what you do. So what did I do? Murdered everybody and ran it by myself. Duh, that just seems like the best course of action. So, like in something like this, she bonded with Madison. She didn't really bond much with
With Akira,
Akira.
no.
So like in my mind, yeah, I could understand I am sound like a terrible person. I could understand taking her out too because like realistically, yeah, I would feel like a little guilty. She already murdered all these other people, but like I wouldn't be that bonded to her anyways. And she was and honestly, like she should have seen like the way that she was being treated versus how Eden and Madison were
Right. It's not like she did anything to try to help them.
right. And like so it's I wouldn't have felt bad.
No.
And honestly, she probably should have done it. But then again, if she didn't, the men wouldn't know where she is. So I get it. But
I
still,
think they would attract them.
death to Akira. Sorry. Oh my God. I wonder if I put it next to my mic if you can hear it because I just need you to know what I just opened TikTok to.
Oh
You
no.
ready?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't know why I put my head up to my
Watching an
microphone.
adult film, and there was a lady, and she was providing fellatio to a gentleman. And at some point in the fellatiation, he joined in. and began to fellatiate himself along with her. And that has altered my brain chemistry.
She goes, my flabbers were gasted. She also did a response video, and now we know the name of the video, and people have found it. So, the problem is, it is on
I
the.
have so many questions.
I do too. Um, Someone even put a timestamp as to when it happens because she said the whole thing was normal until then. Um, the only issue is it is on a website that I can't access.
As of Florida.
Yeah.
So do I need to access it and have you be like there to watch it through?
We're gonna watch Corn together? What is this? Are we gonna hop on a Discord call and we'll just that is our streaming. Come watch Corn. Sorry. Anyways, I just had to share
I
that 'cause
need to go to
you
bed.
made the exact same face I did when I heard it, and I was like, "What? Hold on. Where are the dolls? Can this actually happen?"
I don't think so. I thought you had to have like pieces
I
of
can
your
research.
spine like taken out for that to be a
I
thing.
don't know. Who knows? I will do research while you continue.
Yeah, why don't you do research? Eden and Madison are trying their best, but they're wounded. And Madison's ankle is badly damaged. They can't go fast, so the sinners catch up to them and surround them. They try to fight them off when all of a sudden arrows rain down. And not like arrow like on the WB, but like Valkyrie style. Or I think it's the CW now. Whatever. This entire time at the camp, Eden has been so sure she had been hallucinating someone watching her from the woods. But now in front of her is that same woman, along with others, a Valkyrie style group that Madison seems to be acquainted with. They're all just have arrows that they're shooting people with arrows. Which honestly, that was one of my favorite Charmed like little segues that when they went and did all the Valkyrie stuff in Charmed, that was like badass. You look like you have things to say.
I found it. He helps.
Oh, I'm so confused.
I found it on Twitter.
I don't want to go on Twitter. Screen record it for me.
I was gonna ask, do you want me to screen record it for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to go on Twitter.
I knew if any porn sites were
Oh
gonna be
no, this is gonna be the new Drake Snake thing at school.
God, I hope not, because this is on a specific porn star's.
I know, but if it's on Twitter, that's where they did it the last time. The Drake
Here's the
Snake
thing.
thing, and they all screen recorded it.
Okay, no, but this video is from 9/11, 2024.
Okay, so I probably would have heard about it by now. Hope, cross my fingers.
Damn it, the date. God damn it.
Do you know how many kids had the screen recording of this Drake Snake video at my
I
school?
saw it against my will, and I have never wanted to not ever see something ever again in my entire life.
I just don't understand why middle schoolers needed to be watching that. Anyway,
Sorry. I'll
side
screen
note,
record it and send it to you.
please, thank you. Anyways, so these people aid in fighting off the men, but then Mateo catches Eden off guard and comes up behind her with his gun. Our men happen upon one end of this Valkyrie women fighting the sinners scene and join in to help the women. And there's this hilarious part where one of them is a 14-year-old and Jasper is absolutely scandalized because she's a child. And Jacob tells her to stick with Jasper so she can help him because he's old and his eyes and his ears don't work very well. And she just starts calling him grandpa the whole time. It's fabulous. But honestly, throughout the rest of the book, this child then just sticks with Jacob. So if they just form this little bond, it's kind of cute. Anyhow, Bentley is apparently useful, so that's awesome. And he just takes his sword and starts beheading people. So that's fun. This whole fucking scene, this whole fucking scene. But then Jacob finally sees Eden with Mateo yelling at her with his gun, accusing her of killing Alistair, which she didn't. And Jacob doesn't have a shot, so he rushes toward them. And Mateo starts to choke Eden. And someone garrots Jacob from behind as he's trying to get to Eden. Bentley, though, he finds Mateo and Eden, and he just grabs Mateo. Just, here we go. This whole fucking thing is just wild.
It's
Eden,
insane.
right. Eden sees two Valkyrie women wrestling with a man on the ground and sees who it is. It's Jacob. And even though it doesn't seem possible, she runs to pull them off Jacob. Eden starts to choke one of the girls until Madison gives a big whistle, telling all the women that the sinners are dead and to stop. Because apparently she's in charge now. Eden finally sees Dom, but his eyes aren't on her. He's staring at Madison as he whispers, Heather, which, if you didn't get that this whole time, if you were
I'm
reading
so
along,
mad.
the second she said Thomas in general, I was just like, fuck. Yeah.
And honestly, the feelings that Eden gets, I
Oh, I know.
understand
Ugh.
because I too
So,
would want to, I would feel so betrayed.
yeah.
Betrayed.
So, this book is a big boy. This is a lengthy book, especially as
It
a
is
second.
700 pages.
Yeah, especially as a second book in a trilogy, it is a chunky boy. But there was such turmoil and so much feeling for each of our characters to have to wade through that a lot of it was really important. I just give you the quick version, obviously, but to read through it, it was necessary for most of that to really get inside these characters' head. And I do think this author, Rebecca Quinn, does a really good job of giving us an emotional depth of the characters. I will say that.
Yeah, no, she does a really good job. And honestly, I think that's why we were so good to read the second book.
Absolutely.
Not only
Yeah.
because of cliffhangers and all that other stuff, but like, I mean, I've read plenty
We
of
got
books
sucked
where
in.
I've had cliffhangers and I'm like, I don't really want to read the next book. But this, like,
Right.
we were like, okay, we kind of want to. And like,
And even
obviously,
the
we were gonna do
characters
it
that we weren't even a big fan of, you get attached to.
exactly.
And like I think where you were going, even if other people didn't want us to do it for the podcast, we were going to do it for ourselves anyways.
Yes. I screen
Sorry.
recorded it for you.
Fabulous. Eden gets up and they both, Madison/Heather and Dom, swing their attention to her, but Eden goes to Jacob, who's coughing and rising from the ground. She flings herself around him and they kiss. And all the realization hits Eden. All the conversations she had with Madison/Heather, how she's lasted so long with the sinners, how they wanted information from her, how she gave it to them, how Eden told her all about her men and Heather just let her. She realizes then that the information that they wanted, the information she gave, was the inside knowledge of the cameras, where they were placed, how to move them, how to loop the feeds. And Eden just looks at her and says, how could she? Eden scrambles to grab the gun on the ground that Mateo had dropped, and she just aims it at Madison/Heather. And she pulls the trigger. But nothing is working. Jacob kindly tells her that the safety's on and tells her how she can shut it off. But Dom is like, what the fuck?
Honestly, fair. Not the Dom thing. No,
Jacob, I know.
Jacob. Honestly, because I would
I
have felt this
fucking love
exact same
Jacob.
way because like quite literally because she opened
Let's
up to
not
this
forget.
woman.
And not only that, but let's not forget, these men know her. These men were all burned by this woman.
Yes. This woman really fucked them over. And she clearly knew who she was. And like I understand her not wanting to do it to protect herself, but at the same time, like Eden helped her and Eden was trying
Mm-hmm.
to help her this whole time. I would have also done the same thing and tried to shoot her. But then I would have done the unhinged thing and flicked the safety off and shot her. And then that would have been the end of it. This book
So,
brought out a lot of violence in me.
spoiler alert, that's not what she did. Thank you. It's not Crystal, it's Eden.
Well, we
So
could have been,
Eden,
and then Eden also does
I
the
know.
unhinged thing.
Eden
But
instead,
no.
also slightly unhinged, but she abandons the gun and lunges for Heather. She she just goes just feral for her. She accuses her of blinding them at Bristlebrook, of trying to kill them. Heather says painfully that she did much worse than that.
So I'm
Says,
sitting here thinking as I'm reading, I'm like, how much fucking worse can you do this, Heather?
I know, fucking, I was not a fan of Heather,
Here's the thing
but
is I was listening into it on audio and I was like, are you fucking kidding
gotcha.
me, Heather?
See, I did. You had such a great time with the audio last time, so I wanted to experience some of that this time. I'm not fully audiobook, so I did listen to chapters here and there, so I could not stop reading and was like, oh, I have to cook dinner. Let me listen to a couple chapters while I cook dinner. And I know you had a problem with the bow last time, the bow voice, the southern voice. That was not what bothered me. And it might have been an author choice, but I hated Jasper's chapters. Not because of the narrator, because I listened to him in other books. But instead of saying Lucian every time or Lucky, he called him Lucine every time. Like it almost sounded like he was saying Lucy. And it was so fucking frustrating. And I was like, I can't. It's Lucian. Or sometimes like the Frenchy way, it's Lucien or something, something funky, but it's not Lucine. Gag me. Anyway. But no, I did very much enjoy the entire audiobook experience as a whole because it's all full cast and they all have their own voices. And she is doing that for the third one as well. And nixing our problematic man, which we can talk more about that later if you'd like. So, anywho, Dom says enough and grabs Eden's arm, saying there's no point and that she needs to back down. That there are a lot of people with very sharp weapons aimed at her to just stop. Jasper cuts in and tries to calm Eden's panic. But seeing him honestly makes her panic more about Lucky and whatnot because here she sees Dom, Jasper, and Jacob. But clearly Lucky and Bo are not here. And she watched Lucky get shot multiple times. And Jasper means well. But sometimes he's just such a dumb little boy. He's the old man, but sometimes he's so dumb. And he's so, what are five things you can see? And Jacob is basically like,
The fight, I understand that part
no,
trying to get her,
no, no,
but
no. I get it. But he's so in his clinical psychiatry brain that he can't see what her true problem is. And it takes Jacob, of all people, to be like, Lucky's alive. Lucky and Bo are alive. He's like across, like, cool your jets. They're at the house, and she just runs into Jacob's arm and sobs, which then makes Jasper feel inadequate because, Jacob is the one to figure that out. And Jasper thought that that would be his only positive thing about being there with them, that was what he could provide for her. And there's big, gruff Jacob doing better of a job. Heather tells the group to follow her and her group since they have a safe place nearby. and they head out. Back at Bristlebrook, Bo has finally managed to, at least temporarily, fix the plumbing so that they can have running water. There's this whole scene where Lucky finally gets to bathe since he's been shot for like the first time, and Bo gives him a
This
bubble
whole
bath.
scene was so funny because this was also part of the book I was listening to audio, and I was fucking dying of laughter. Dying.
Started with Lucky wanting a moment alone, and he had Jasper's shirt, and he just wanted to jerk off by himself. And Bo interrupts it because he finally can take a shower, but he doesn't want to get some of the bandages wet, so he puts him in the bath, and he gets him sudsy, soapy, warm. But then he washes his hair for him, and he has candles all around. He's like, "This is a bit much."
It was so funny. I was laughing so hard. I'm sitting here like, oh my God, man.
I do have to say that I appreciate Lucky's role in this book because a lot of this book is so heavy in so many ways that Lucky gave us a levity throughout this book because he just gave us that little like comedy and airy, just light and just fun when we needed it. And it was,
Yeah, breaking it up is a good idea. Yeah, no, this
yes.
fucking killed me. I died. I died.
He always came in at the times when we needed it, but yeah.
R.I.P. me.
So Heather leads the rest of our people to a series of caves that they use. There are a bunch of families and people there, part of their group. Like a lot, like almost 100. It's kind of insane. And Dom is a little overwhelmed because honestly, most of them are pretty overwhelmed because they're living in caves and they gave up Bristlebrook for this. And when Eden is awed by this because of how fancy their caves and how intricate and nice their caves seem, the men realize what Eden's life was like before them because they had never seen her cave before them.
Can I just say, my brain just went to Ice Planet Barbarians.
As one
I'm
does in the
sorry,
best of ways.
but like caves. Remember when they lived in the
Yeah,
caves?
yeah,
That's one way in, one way out.
yeah,
Ice Planet Barbarians, except
yeah,
not.
not. So a woman then comes into the cave with an arrow. She's coming in backwards with an arrow trained on Alistair following behind. So now they have both Alistair and Mateo as captive, and they're led into one of the back caves with Eden, Heather, Bentley, Jasper, Jacob, and Dom. Heather wants to murder them, and Dom wants to interrogate them. Dom asks who they are. Heather says it doesn't matter because they're dead anyways. Eden tells him their names, and when asked, she tells them that they might be the only reason there wasn't more done to her at the camp. Heather says it doesn't matter, that Alistair is the one who killed her Tommy. And she explains what her life has been like since she left Bristlebrook with Tommy, and gathering this group, living with them, the trouble they've had with food, with the amount of people they've gathered in their group. And that made them decide to ride to the big city, and that's where things went wrong. Dom doesn't understand how she could resort to that, how going back to Bristlebrook was that bad of an option. She explained
That's
that
what I thought too, bitch. Like you were struggling out there, but you weren't. Whatever, dum
she's so
dum.
toxic. She explains that she didn't think she'd be welcome after the way she left. But she has to realize that honestly, she's thinking in her brain because she wouldn't let people back if people left her like that. She's not thinking about how they would just let people. But long story short, Alistair found Tommy and Heather breaking into a hospital, and Tommy was killed and Heather was taken. Bada bang, bada boom. Dom says fine. They'll kill him and keep Mateo for questioning. Eden says please don't, that they might need him. She tells Heather that the group will need to move. Sam will be tracking them, and they'll follow them right to where they are. She says that they should go to Bristlebrook. That's the best place for them. Heather tries to say that they have other locations, but Eden's firm that Bristlebrook is the best place. And she's trying to bide Alistair time because she truly thinks that he might be the best way of beating Sam. They all start agreeing because Bristlebrook has food protection and they can reset the cameras in different places. Bentley chimes in about being able to set traps along the way. Knowing that it's their only choice, they all pack up and head out. All 92 of them, including our main characters and the prisoners, which also now includes Akira. They found her as well. So that's cool. Apparently, she was given the choice to stay or go, and she chose to stay with them. They make the long journey, many, many, many days back to Bristlebrook. The fear and the nightmares really getting to Eden, having killed all those men and being taken, and feeling like she's just waiting for the next bad thing to happen. She sticks really close to Jacob, letting him drown out the darkness. They find ways to fuck each other along the journey. Heather spends her time beating and torturing Alistair, even though Eden is strongly against this. One day, the cries are just too much for her, and she ends up going to Alistair and Mateo to tend their wounds. Alistair pleads with her to free them, explaining that there are at least 100 women and children captive in Cyanide. But with them dead or captured, there's no hope of his plan coming to fruition. He was slowly turning men. He has at least 80 of the 300 men that are there on his side, and many more are on the verge, but he will lose them all, and the women and children will suffer if he's not there to lead. Eden realizes that this is the only thing she can do. She can't listen to them be beat another day. She can't just watch them slowly die. No one else seems to care about all those other poor hostages like she was kept. She was only there for days. These people have been there for months, years. She makes Alistair promise that he will never, ever return to Bristlebrook. He agrees as long as her men don't come to Cyanide, because it will be his. And she cuts their ties away, saying that this is as much as she can do for them. If they find them, she can't do anything else, and they take off. Later, when the others are discussing the disappearances, Heather thinks that they shouldn't be going back to Bristlebrook anymore. After all, Mateo and Alistair knew where they were going, and she fears that they will just run back and tell Sam all their plans. Dom says they will fortify and move all the cameras and make it work. That it's Heather's fault anyways for stringing them along. If she really wanted to kill them, she should have just done it and got it over with. It's her fault for dragging this out. She gave them time to escape, to plan. I mean,
I just really hate Heather.
yeah. So I was going to talk about it towards the end, but I think that she's going to be the main character in probably the next set of books. That's where I can see this happening. I can see a book about Cyanide City and her being, but we can talk about that later. I don't know if I don't know if I can do a whole book on Heather.
I don't think I could. I think I just want to kill her the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. They finally make it back to Bristlebrook, purposely tripping motion sensor cameras on the way so that Bo and Lucky know they're almost there. And when they arrive, Bo and Lucky are on the porch waiting for them. Lucky is blasting the song Garden of Eden.
I just, it's the golden retriever energy for me, and I love it so much.
I know. Eden runs and hugs them and makes sure that they're okay. Jake is grumpy about this. Bo's not happy. Heather's with them and immediately confronts Dom. When they talk about sleeping arrangements and Bo and Lucky both try to claim Eden as room partners, Jacob has had enough. Eden follows him this time and he reiterates that he does not share. If she's going to have Bo, she can have him. He's done. He doesn't want to see her anymore. She was upfront about everything the whole time with Jacob, but they were the only ones on this trip, so he kind of just got just her by himself, and now he's not having a good time.
Poor boy.
I know, my baby. Eden rejoins the group, and Heather suggests that Dom and her bunk together so that Lucky and Jasper can bunk together and Eden and Bo can bunk together. Both Eden and Bo are basically stone still at this, and Jasper cuts in to try to help everyone out, saying that he and Heather can share because he has like this office or something in his room, and Lucky and Dom can share. And everyone disperses to settle in. Dom finds Bo, who is packing up stuff to head to Eden's room, and he tells an angry Bo that he is not sleeping with Heather. Bo tells Dom that he loves Eden and he thinks that he and Dom need a break. He can do whatever he wants with Heather, and Bo will focus on Eden while Dom figures out whatever he needs to figure out. Their argument is paused, though, when they get an alert that a transmission is coming through. Bentley had gone back and returned to the red zone when obviously there was no more information to get out of Mateo or Alistair because, surprise, they're not there anymore. So that he can't figure out more about the medication situation. So he calls in a word to the men that Alistair and Mateo were sighted going through the gates of Cyanide City, as well as information that Sam has been recruiting from other groups in the area, promising things to them. And they have also been practicing upping their firepower quite a bit and practicing exploding things. Lovely. Jasper finally confesses to Lucky that since he was injured and since he's been away from him, he has been in a panic, worried about him. That the only way he was able to get through the whole thing and be able to rescue Eden, who he was worried about as well, was thinking about Lucky. Jasper tells Lucky that he loves him, and they kiss. Lucky tells Jasper that he loves him too. Jasper teases him and says that they have a lot of romancing to do, and in the meantime, Lucky is not to touch himself because his cock only belongs to Jasper. Lucky's basically like, well, and Eden. And Jasper's like, no. And Lucky's like, no, and Eden. Clearly, Jasper's not meshing with this right now. He's basically like, he's already explained to Lucky that if Lucky wants to have something with Eden, fine, but it will not be a three of them thing because he would not be good for Eden. He does not have the
Come
same
on,
kind of
Jasper. You're just being a
he
buzzkill.
is, but he doesn't think he has the same kind of kink that she needs, that he would break her.
How
Lucky,
would you know if you don't try?
right? But Lucky is determined to try with her and figure it out. Jasper wishes him luck. Thinks he's gonna need quite a bit of it. So that evening, Bo gives Eden a very thorough medical examination privately in her room. And so there is a little comment later on about how, Bo and Dom always work together and Bo loves his little role play scenes. I would like to know if Bo is the doctor in these role play scenes and obviously Eden was the patient, would Dom have been the nurse?
And would he be in a nurse's outfit?
Right. I have questions.
I do too, and not an answer.
No. Anywho, that was interesting. So in the morning, Eden wakes to an anal training kit and instructions from Bo on the table that she had gotten up in the middle of the night to block the door with, but now it's back in its rightful spot. She goes off in search of Jacob to try to fix things with him. But Eden finds out he has volunteered to go relocate the cameras. This causes fear and panic because A, he didn't tell her, and B, what if there's danger out there? Then she finds Lucky and Jasper together in the kitchen while she's still panicking, and it just makes it worse. They're clearly right and not her. Was she just a replacement while they waited for each other? Because she didn't even know that they were really a thing. So finding out that they were just harboring feelings for each other the whole time makes her feel used. It makes her feel like Lucky was just using her as a replacement to get by while he was pining for Jasper. Eden's not doing well mentally. Too much, all at once, all the same time, and everything continuing to happen. And when Eden calls Lucky out on possibly using her, he insists that he wants and needs her too. He says he's not putting Jasper first, and he won't sleep with Jasper until Eden makes up her mind if she wants Lucky or not. He tells her she needs to see Jasper, though, like for therapy, because she's clearly suffering from some post-traumatic stress and she needs to talk it out.
Bro, so much has happened to this poor woman.
I know. This poor lady.
I'm traumatized and I'm just reading it.
Right? So the camp replants the gardens and sends out hunting parties and starts up sparring sessions and starts rebuilding Bristlebrook and making it a place that A, they're fortifying themselves and making themselves stronger, and B, be sustainable that can feed them all and house them all. Eden joins in the sparring sessions and the planting crew, even though the newcomers make it clear that they are not happy with her. They don't have information on their dynamics, so to them, it looked like she just dropped Jacob for Bo when they came back, and they're mad because they got to know Jacob. He's almost like a savior to them. He helped them, and now they feel some kind of they feel like they need to take his side.
Like a
So
kinship? Is that
yeah,
the word?
probably. So days go by of this routine, and Jasper ends up dropping a PTSD book off for Eden so that she can at least possibly start to work through things on her own, even if she's not ready to talk to others. And over more days, they set up the property even more for defensive measures. They build this like dry moat, they set traps, they do all kinds of things. But food is a serious concern with this many people. So they're constantly having to hunt and ration. And it's something that they've never really had to do at Bristlebrook because they had a system going. But 6 people is a lot different than 92.
That's an insane amount of people. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. No, thank
And
you.
Dom is struggling, feeling like it all won't be enough. He doesn't feel like he has the capability to take care of this many people. And he's struggling too. And Heather lets him know that a lot of the women are eyeing him because their group doesn't have many men among them. And happening upon this group of men, have a lot of these women thinking they have a chance. So Heather is basically like, fix things with Eden or be prepared for the flock.
Be prepared.
So you
know
know
it fits though
how
because she is a
when
villain. Sorry.
true, but you also know how when in that movie the blind hyenas realize that they've been duped the whole time. No, it's like our current. Never mind. So
I've seen those memes.
the women that accompanied Jacob on the mission to change the locations of the cameras have been grilling him over the relationship, and he has confessed that they did have an arrangement to share, and he's the problem. That he doesn't want to share. And the women make it their personal mission to clean Jacob up and make him the better choice before they get back to Bristlebrook. Eden finally gets up the courage to go to Jasper with her PTSD book. She's been avoiding going to see him because she doesn't want the same thing to happen to her that he's been doing to Lucky because she doesn't want to be seen as his patient. She doesn't want to close that door with him, but she knows she needs to do this. So when she goes to him, she's very hesitant. And thankfully, he has done enough work with Lucky and himself since they've been back that he recognizes this and calls her out on it. He has her talk things out with him, as a submissive and not a patient. She vows to try, to figure out what she wants, and to achieve it. Our men realize the anniversary of Death Day is upon them. It may not be the best idea, but they decide to hold a bonfire and give people a much needed break from all the preparations. Jacob is even back in time. Lucky insists on putting on a display of some sort of mating dance because Lucky.
That's all you
And
needed
that's
because lucky.
all you needed. So then he pulls Eden aside to the woods and they talk. Eden agrees that she doesn't not want to be with him, and Lucky eats her out and finds out that she has a plug. She has now moved up to the largest size, and he's very happy about that. He even sees writing on one of her cheeks, and apparently Bo wrote on her to go to the party and refused to tell her what it said, and he finds it very hilarious. It's basically says, "Prep this for you, buddy." And yeah. So Lucky then fucks her with the plug in her, and they tell each other they love each other. And then Jasper comes to fetch Lucky just as they're finishing, and then he forces Lucky to clean her up like a good boy. Bo then comes upon the group feeling like he just, luckily, stumbled upon a gold mine. He wants to play too. And then he starts to touch Eden, which causes Lucky to naughtily grind upon Jasper, and then it's a party. Bo fucks Eden's mouth while Jasper binds and plays with Lucky's cock and balls, and then Bo fucks Eden from behind. Jasper coming over to twist Eden's nipples until she cries, while Lucky watches from his trussed up state. Then Jasper takes a belt to Lucky's ass while Bo edges Eden over and over again. After Bo comes, Jasper then instructs Lucky to take a turn fucking Eden. Then Jasper comes up behind Lucky and fucks him at the same time, which I gotta say,
That is one of my favorite
my
things.
favorite things. Yep.
Ugh.
It's like that song, These Are My Favorite Things.
I
This
was
would be
literally
in
gonna
that
start
song.
singing it.
Unfortunately, my version of that song would be naughty because this would be in it.
And cocks and some assholes.
Making a train. Uh,
We'll workshop the idea and then we'll bring you a
well,
song.
yes.
God help us.
When they're done, Eden has still not been allowed to come, but they clean her up. Lucky asks Jasper for a pen and writes something on her other cheek and sends her on her way to smooth things over with Jacob. She finds Jacob basically hiding in the woods, and he tells her to leave him alone. And then she's mad because she's done playing this game and he agreed to this whole thing, and now he's all upset because she wants all of them. But it's okay if he doesn't want her. He just doesn't get to be all jealous and blah. But in her rant, she even goes on and on about how she even let Bo put the stupid plug in for him and this whole thing. And everything just kind of stops because he just pauses, flips her around, hikes up her skirt so he can see it. And then he sees the writing on her and then says, this is her chance to use her safe word. And when she doesn't, he says, to run. Run.
And we run.
And we run because we are the foxes.
I don't think that that is how Taylor Swift meant this song to be applied to, but we can apply it to every single dark romance.
Honestly, who really knows with her? Because she also has that line in one of her songs of um, Written mine on my upper thigh, only in my
That literal
mind.
entire song is about wanting to basically have an affair with a person.
But I'm
She
just
wrote a
saying,
list of affairs. Oh, yeah, there's
writing the
that.
word mine on someone's
Yeah.
thigh, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, she fucking runs. Jake chases her down through the woods, catches her, puts her face down to the ground on her stomach, pulls out the plug, and goes to fuck her ass. But then he stops himself. He's mad that he almost aggressively fucked her without thought when that's something new to her that she's been prepping for. And then he's just mad at himself in general. They have a long talk about their feelings and how he needs to stop thinking that he's not good enough for her. Being shared is not saying that he's not enough. She loves all of them. That doesn't mean she doesn't love him or she loves him less. And it's not fair to cut them all off. He zeroes on the fact that she said she loves him and she reiterates that she loves him. He kisses her. She tells him that she wants him. He's like, what the fuck? No. She needs romance. And she says she's his. Show her how he wanted it. She wants it to be him. So he lays her down and then dives in, eating her out, ass and all. Then he fingers her ass and then he fucks her ass face to face until they both come, Jacob whispering that he's never had anything to himself and that he can't share her. Sad. After they clean up, they head back to the party, and as they get there, Eden asks, what now? Jacob says he needs time. And at her hesitation, because, dude, you can't just dip again, he says 3 days. Give him 3 days to think. She says, okay. And when Bo strides up to them with a smirk and asks if they had a good time, Jake punches him and says if he pulls a stunt like that again with his messages, he's going to do worse than that because Eden wasn't good about using safe words. And he thinks that she wants to prove she can take it. And Bo's smirk drops and he says he'll take care of it. Jasper then comes up to them and asks what's going on. And Bo tells him that Eden didn't use her safe word when she needed to. And Eden tells them that need is a strong word. Jasper says that that is a problem and asks both Eden and Jacob if they're okay. The men are being very serious about this, and Eden is protesting, saying that it's not a big deal and that everything is fine, that it was no issue. As Lucky realizes what's going on, and he runs up with a panicked look on his face and quickly puts a hand over her mouth, saying, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's really sorry. She'll definitely be vocal next time. And he's going to take her away right now to talk about this. Lucky knows what punishments are.
I got no words for this man.
It's funny. Jasper tells him to stop, and Jasper asks Jacob if he wants to be the one to handle things. And Jacob says nobody needs to handle anything, that they talked about it. They're square with each other. He just wants to give them a heads up because if they're going to be with her, which he doesn't want them to be, but if they are, he wants them to look out for that. And then he looks at Eden and says, 3 days. She nods and says she loves him, and he walks away. Jasper tells her this conversation is not over. He tells her he knows she's had conversations about this and knows better, and that not being communicative can do harm for both people involved. She deflates and says she's sorry and promises to speak up if it happens again. He tells her he will lend her some books and perhaps an essay on safety in dominance and submissive relationships would be good for her. And he will also have a limits list for her to fill out. She agrees and says that they should rejoin the party. Such an old man. Eden, as well as Lucky, and a lot of the women, get very, very drunk. Eden dances and has a great time until Heather finds her and steers her towards Dom. Eden tells her that that is not funny. Heather tells her that they don't have any interest in each other, that Eden has paid attention to everyone else that evening. She should probably go see Dom. She's very, very drunk and tries to say no, and they kind of squabble over it until Eden falls in the grass, and Dom sees her and then goes to try to help her up, and he carts her very drunken ass back to the house. Though along the way, she just stops in the middle of their conversation and hikes up her dress and asks Dom if he can tell her what it says because nobody would tell her what her butt says.
Honestly, fair.
He says what makes her think he will tell her. And she says because he's supposed to be her friend. Because when the whole thing with Heather went down and she was so hurt, and they weren't really talking anyways, she just asked if they could just still be friends. And so they've both been giving each other space and just being friends and hanging out as friends. And he asks, what if he doesn't want to be friends anymore? And she looks sad and asks if he doesn't like her. He says he likes her. And then he brushes the right side of her ass through her dress and says that one says, prepare this for you, buddy. And the left one says, tag, you're it. She starts to giggle, saying, poor Jake. And then she can't stop laughing.
I honestly would also laugh.
So swings her up into his arms and tells her she needs sleep. And Eden starts to trace her hands over his face and his lips, telling him he's so pretty. He tells her that's not very platonic. She confesses that she doesn't want to just be his friend anymore, that Heather tells her that she should tell him that she likes him. He tells her to wait, that he wants to have this conversation when she's sober. And she says, okay, that she won't forget. She tells him she needs to tell him something. And she starts to tell him about coming back from the camp, and she's going to confess about Alistair Mateo, but she doesn't get the words out because her bedroom door swings open, cutting her off, and Beau comes out with his hands covered in blood. Beau had gone to the bedroom and found it streaked and covered in blood. He panicked, thinking it was Eden, but thankfully, seeing her now, it's not. But that means that someone else is, and that someone inside Bristlebrook harmed someone else, or someone got into Bristlebrook to harm someone else. Dom looks around the room and sees the word killer has been written in bloody letters, and Eden racks her brain on who would do this. And she realizes that Akira was on the dinner duty for cutting and bleeding the pig for the big bonfire dinner.
Told you she should have killed that bitch when she had the chance.
Could it just be that it's not an actual person and them not be invaded? I mean, either way is bad, but this is less bad. Dom says they need to shut down the bonfire and organize a head count. And Beau looks in the closet and notices that his rifle is missing. And Dom pulls the crew in for a meeting into Jasper's room. He tells them what's up and that they think Akira trashed Eden's room with pig's blood, stole the rifle, and they find that now she's been missing for the last 6 or 7 hours, looking back as far as they can realize of who has last seen her. And the worst part is she knows where the cameras are, where they've been moved to, and she knows all their plans. So if she's meeting Sam again, they're screwed. They do their best to make a plan. Heather's going to do a head count, get a sweep of the forest with Jake's help. Jasper's going to stay and take care of Eden and Lucky, who are now puking their guts up in the bathroom, trying to fight over the toilet bowl because they drank way too much. And Beau and Dom are going to call Bentley to get him to help. Beau and Dom hash out their shit in the control room, and Dom realizes that they can't just sit there like ducks. They need to play to their strengths, and they need to bring the fight to Sam, and his people need to go to Cyanide. They strategize and pack up and get set to go. Jake is going to stay behind in case the house needs defending with some of the civilians because they trust him best. and the fighters and the rest of our main characters are going to go. Our men do not want Eden to go. She's stubborn, though, that she is going. Dom actually has her side on this one. He says that this is her fight, too, and she has just as much right as Heather to go. She tries to say goodbye to Jake and let him know she's leaving, but he reminds her he needs space and is not ready to talk. Dumb idiot. So she writes him a letter and gives it to Casey, who is the 14-year-old that is basically Jacob's shadow, still from the beginning.
Mhm.
And Casey tells him on the third day when Jacob goes to look for her that he's a dumb idiot because he didn't even notice she was gone before. And she gives him the letter. And he realizes through her letter that no, she is his. He will fight for her. He was left there because these people trust him. He's going to do right by them. He is the king of the castle, and the king is the one who gets the queen. Fuck the rest of them.
I mean, yeah, go ahead. Fuck the rest
My
of them.
man. Excuse me. It takes them about a week to get to Cyanide, and they meet Bentley as discussed, and he takes them to their headquarters. They strategize. They're going to have a decoy team, a rooftop team, and a team that goes underground to try to find the captive women and children and free them. This fucking idiot dude named Aaron bickers the whole time. He's on Heather's team. He thinks he's basically the true ruler of Heather's team, and he tries to undermine all their shit the whole fucking time, and he doesn't like how they're strategizing, and he's freaking annoying. But they basically ignore him and do what they want to do because, you know, they're not 20-year-old idiots. Anywho, they give everyone an hour to take a breather before they head out. Eden uses this time to tell Dom that she didn't forget, that she wants him and not to just be friends. And he fucks her on the table until Bo comes and interrupts them. Bo is real pissy about it, so Dom gets Eden off and then stops because it's time to go. Eden's not happy with Bo, feeling like he's playing petty games, and says that they will talk about this later, but right now apparently they don't have time. Everyone gathers into their designated teams. There's about 60 people that will go on the mission. Bo and Bentley head out taking the rooftop team. Dom and Heather and Eden are taking the tunnel team, and Lucky and Jasper take the decoy team. Of course, the plan does not go the way it's supposed to because Lucky is in charge of the decoy team, and Lucky is lucky. So, of course, he thinks things are fun and games and tries to fuck with someone, and that backfires. And then he ends up setting the entire pack of explosives on fire instead of a little bit in each building to create a trail, and they just have to run for their lives after the explosion. Lucky's team comes out from where they duck for cover, and they're surrounded. Bo's team runs on the rooftops to avoid the ridiculous explosion, and they run right into an ambush, and they're surrounded. Even in the tunnels, all of a sudden, they're surrounded. How did they know their plans? Dom's radio crackles with Alistair on it, telling Dom to come up, that he has everyone hostage and he will kill one person for every minute that he doesn't come up. Eden is pissed. She freed these men, and here they are. She runs up the ladder, climbs up, runs to where Bo and Jasper and Lucky are now being pinned down by gunpoint with all the rest. And then she sees Aaron, that dude, standing behind Alistair. He was the rat. I hadn't thought he was actually important this entire book until now. So there we go. He was really just really annoying, so I tried to tune him out.
Honestly,
Not gonna
sometimes that
lie.
happens though when you find an annoying character, you're like, oh, they're not important, and then they end up being important. You're like, ah, shit.
Yeah. Eden tells Alistair that they came to stop Sam like he wanted, that they should be allies. Like, what the fuck? Alistair tilts his head and tells Dom, who is raring to go, to sit down. He would rather discuss business with Eden. Eden tells Dom to trust her and to go with the others, and he does. So Eden and Alistair talk. Alistair tells her that her timing is terrible. She says she knows, and the idiot Aaron jumps in and says, "No, I heard their plan. They're trying to kill you all." Alistair says it doesn't matter, that Eden and he had their own deal. She was meant to bring them while they were gone, and Sam's men were there so that they could be taken care of. And in exchange, Alistair would leave their home alone. But Eden didn't contact him in time, so his hand was forced. And now he's lost a man, and he does not like losses. Aaron chimes in again, saying that she hates the sinners. She can't be trusted. None of them can. That Alistair needs to kill them. Alistair says loyalty is everything. And he shoots Aaron between the eyes. Because obviously he wasn't loyal to anybody.
Yeah.
And then he asks Eden if she's loyal. She stammers out that she is. She knows what she needs to do, and she says she's sorry that she tried to get away to send a message, but there was no opportunity. She thought if they came anyway, they could still help and be of use. Alistair said that was a mistake. But everyone makes mistakes, and he's not like Sam. He's not going to kill when there's no need. He tells her, as it turns out, they didn't need them. And then there's the sound of doors opening, some giant gated doors or something all of a sudden. And then men are suddenly forced off the edge of a balcony, one by one falling, only caught by rope around their necks, Sam being the last one. Alistair announces that Sam won't be bothering anyone anymore, and that he is in charge now, and he should thank Eden. He does owe her his life, after all. This wouldn't be possible without her. Dom and Heather are like, what the fuck? No, she didn't. Alistair goes on and on about how they had many conversations at the camp and they came to an understanding, which is why she didn't give him the stew and why she freed him when they held him captive. Dom flinches. Heather screams about how he killed Tommy, how she trusted Eden. Dom looks so
Bitch,
betrayed,
Eden trusted you.
right?
Sorry.
Eden is
I get so
Eden.
angry about her.
I know. Eden is crying. She just tells him she's sorry. She tries to plead with them that Alistair is their ally. That's why she saved him. That Bristlebrook and the sinners can live separately in peace. That they want the same things. That Alistair will free the women and children. Alistair stiffens. Some of his men are basically like, what the fuck is she talking about? He says, of course, the women and children will stay there. They need to show proper respect and not ask for more than was promised. Eden is like, what the fuck? He did promise to free the women and children. That's why she trusted him. The only reason. She tells him that he promised that they would be safe. And after a long pause, he says that they aren't the same as Sam. They take care of their people. And she tries to do what she can to kind of get out of the situation. She says she's sorry. She shouldn't have asked and thanks him for dealing with Sam and says they're grateful and that they can leave now and promise they won't come back. He says he doesn't know if she can trust that she'll keep that promise. So in exchange for their ongoing safety, they will need to offer him a yearly tithe in gratitude. He says he needs collateral before they leave. 2 guests, one from the red zone and one from Bristlebrook. As long as nothing happens to them, nothing will happen to the guests. Eden says fine, that she will stay. Lucky's like, nope. Jasper tries to volunteer in Eden's place. Eden says no, it has to be her. It's okay. Alistair says thanks, but he doesn't want her. He wants Bentley and he wants Heather. Heather says deal. Eden pleads with her. No. Heather says she will finish this herself because she can never forgive Eden for this. Alistair says the deal is done. It's time for sinners to reign, and that is the end of book 2. We have to wait for book 3. It comes out in June.
Dun-dun-dun.
But I want to know why Bentley didn't get a chance to speak up or anything. But I do have a feeling that whenever this is resolved, and there is an author note saying that don't worry, this was like very tumultuous, but there will be a HEA. I do think that if it's not included in the next book, that there will be a whole nother book that has Mateo, Alistair, Bentley, and Heather.
I would love that. Sorry,
I
I got distracted.
partially, but I don't know if I'd want to have a whole book listening to Heather.
Okay, yeah, I don't give a shit about Heather, I guess. Anyways, sorry. No, I got distracted because there is a book called Day Death, which is the
Is the prequel?
novella.
Yes.
Yeah, didn't read. I hadn't read it yet.
I have not either.
Anyways, who was your favorite character?
Jacob.
I still really love Lucky,
He is the
though.
king.
I just
I
he's
love
a
him.
self-proclaimed king.
I love him. He's
I
just a
know.
grumpy bear.
He is. I like him. I do like the boys a lot.
I like all the boys.
Lucky
Out
is
of
still my
all the
favorite
boys,
though, but
Jasper is probably my least favorite.
yeah,
But I feel like I just need to wait for him to come into his own because we don't get a lot of time with him.
that is true. Yeah.
Bo and Jasper would probably be my least favorite.
Yeah.
The other three are,
Same.
yeah,
Same. Okay, so off of that, who's your least favorite character?
in general. So I don't want to say Alistair because I feel like he's calculating and he has a plan.
He
I
is on
think,
the okay, so he to me is on the same level as when we were reading the Jewelry Box series, where the villain was a good villain, so I can't really
right.
not like him. I think
And
that
I think
Alistair
he
is
has a
good.
plan. Like,
He
I
does. It
think
might be a little bit morally
it
gray
might be
here, but
on the gray area, right? But I think he has a plan and I think he's smart and cunning. And I think
yeah.
he's just right.
Yeah, I
I
don't
did
hate
not
him.
like Heather.
Fuck
Um,
Heather.
I did not like Heather. And I honestly thought Heather's addition to this whole thing fucking just sucked for me.
I fucking hate Heather. I
Just
hate
I
her
don't like Heather.
so much.
I know that's so awful, but I just
And I don't like
fucking
Akira, and I think Akira should have died, but that's besides the point.
I don't like Heather. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't like Heather either.
Fuck Heather. Fuck Heather.
Fuck Heather.
Fuck Heather.
All right. So, Amazon gives this book a 4.4 and Goodreads a 4.3.
What did you rate it?
Honestly, I was going towards like a 4.5.
I also rated this book a
Really?
4.5.
Oh my God,
So
we've been on such like
we
the
have
same
been, I know,
wavelength
which
lately.
is
This
kind of
never
scary,
happens.
but it's
Yeah.
kind of cool at the same time.
One of these days we're gonna hit a book where like
Oh,
I'm like, I fucking hate this shit.
or yeah.
Yeah, or
Maybe
vice
that
versa.
should be our vow for like the next one, just to find
God,
things.
no, let's not do that.
Or you know what we could do? We could have a wheel where we just pick the categories. Like each of us have certain categories we have to hit, and we don't even discuss it. We just pick the 6 books and bam. Like
Sounds
each of
good
us
to me.
picks 6. And then that way
Yeah.
there's no question and we don't have to. That'd be
Okay.
hilarious.
I'm here for that. I'm here for it.
As long as we each have separate categories, you know what I mean? Categories to hit.
Yeah, I'm here for that. I'm cool with that. Sounds good to
Okay.
me. Sounds great. Anyways, yeah, no,
Sorry.
this book was great.
I
I'm
had a
having
great time.
Like
I was a little bit, the reason why it's not like a full 5 is A, I was just sick of the Heather shit. B, um, it was a little wishy-washy in times where to me, I get really frustrated with the back and the forth and the so many third act breakups. Like there's so many back and forths and back and forths, you know what I mean? Will they, won't they, are they, aren't they? So
yeah.
it wasn't a lot, but there was a little bit that was, it seemed a little unnecessary for the story. Most of it
Yeah.
was necessary for the story, which was why I was here for
Right.
it. But there was a tiny bit that I was like,
Yeah.
which is
It is
why it was
nice
just
because it didn't feel like it was the amount of pages that it
no,
was,
that was
which is
great.
great.
That was great.
Peppers.
Let's see.
You got to bring up the scale for this one.
Yes, because we had men.
We did. We had a lot of men.
Oh, it's at least a cayenne.
Yeah.
I think the spice took a little bit of a back seat to what
Yeah.
it could have been for this one, but
So
I'm
I'm
going to
gonna
say
go
a
with a
cayenne
cayenne.
and a half just
Okay.
because of the like some of the BDSM elements to it.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. Solid survivability, I'd be fine.
I'd be
I
just
would
great.
have I would have killed Akira. I probably would have still flipped that safety off and shot Heather, and everything would have been fine. I would have been on a murdering spree.
Solid.
So, like last time, I did listen to the audiobook and I did read some as well. And then Ariel said she also listened to it. So, the biggest thing with the audiobook was like, I love the duet style, which is the male speaks during the female
Yeah.
sings. And we talked about that last time. So there is an information on her website about the audio. We didn't discuss the disclosure last time. So if anyone was living under a rock when everything went down with the he who shall not be named man who did shitty things. This is technically under his audio company, but
It was already
it was
done,
all,
and
yes. So when
which I think
I,
was a piece of why this third book was taking a long time to come out, because she
yeah,
had to revamp the whole thing and try to get everybody back on board. And
but she does have a transparency notice, which is that the audio company Blue Nose Audio has the exclusive audio rights to Ensnared and Entangled, which is books 1 and 2,
Mhm.
from 2023 to 2030. She does receive 25% of net royalties, while the
Oh,
company
geez.
receives 75%. And she cannot make amendments to the titles. Entwined, though, which is the third book, will be produced by One Night Stand Studios, and she holds the intellectual and audio rights for that book. The
And
cast,
most of the cast, other than
yes.
our
So most of the,
non-wanting, has remained for that third book,
correct. Yeah. So,
which
and
is
I
great.
did figure, and I did figure
It's like an
out,
all-star cast. It's insane.
yeah. So JF Harding will be doing Lucky and Bo. So Bo
Right.
will be a different
Correct.
name. Like, obviously, I'm excited for the third book,
Yep.
and I'll still
Comes
do
out
the
in June.
honestly,
We
the
will
way that the
be
audio is done
doing
is
it up.
so great. Like, that is like, and that is the only reason why we like to push it, is because like Ariel's not an audiobook girly, but like
No.
something like
And
this
I
is
read
nice.
probably 90% of this book. It was
Yeah.
nice to, when I had to stop to like make dinner or stop to go do something, or it was nice to be able to switch over and have that full cast experience. It was nice.
It is nice. And like I listen to it sometimes when I'm at work, which is probably not the greatest idea, but I also, we both listen to it on 1.5 speed. Sometimes Ariel listens it on 2 times speed. And it's just because it hits our brains, our ears holes a little different, but
They
that's
talk so
okay.
slow.
Sometimes we talk so slow, so I'm hoping sometimes
That's
people
true.
listen to us on 1.5 speed. Though sometimes we can't, because sometimes we talk really fast and then we sound like chipmunks. And I only know this because I've listened to it before on 1.5. I'm like, I can't do that. No, we can't do that. All right. So now we have a new wheel, and now we have to spin to figure out what we're going to
Spin,
read next, because
spin, spin, spin.
we can no longer sit here and just pick our own books.
Are you sure?
Okay, listen, we started this with the whole Wheel of Fate thing. We got to keep going. And
Yeah.
so that's what we're going to do now. So I am going to bring up the wheel and let's go. Hold on 1 second. I don't know if you can hear it because I don't know if I hit share sound, but we're going to find out, won't we? And here's our beautiful wheel. It looks so beautiful and lovely. And we're going to hit the button. Ready?
Go.
Fire
And
in
we're
His Blood
starting
by.
out with Ruby Dixon.
Yeah, we are.
All
Ugh.
right. Let
Listen,
me.
we have expressed our love of Ruby Dixon throughout this whole podcast ever since we found Ice Planet Barbarians. And here we
Yes.
go.
So we thought that we would do a different Ruby Dixon just to try it out
Spice
and
things
put a
up a little.
full size book on our wheel. So next week, Fire in His Blood by Ruby Dixon. Years ago, the skies ripped open and the world was destroyed in fire and ash. Dragons, once creature of legend, are the enemy. Vicious and unpredictable, they rule the skies of the ruined cities, forcing humanity to huddle behind barricades for safety. Claudia is a survivor. She scrapes by the best she can in a hard, dangerous world. When she runs afoul of the law, she's left as bait in a dragon territory. Dun-dun-dun. She only has one chance to survive, to somehow tame a dragon and get it to obey her. Except the dragon that finds her is as wild and brutal as any other, and he's not interested in obeying. What he's interested in is a mate. Dun dun dun. So join us next week for the first book in our new wheel. And make sure to keep reading.
And keep it smutty. Woo, woo, woo. Pew, pew, pew. Sorry.
Jace Chase. J. Those words together. Apparently, the group thereafter have taken over. Apparently, the group they're looking after. Apparently, they're.
She bonded more with Madison, right?
Madison, yep.
I don't know why I was gonna call her Mercedes. Not even the same.
The fear and the nightmares really getting to Eden. Nope. Really getting to Eden. Even though Eden is strongly against this. She doesn't want this happening. Period. Even though Eden is strongly against this. Period.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole again.
I think this is Dom. It says Damon. Yes.
Oh.
It's like, what just happened?
I kicked my window.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck.